Video or audio? It will be uploaded somewhere. It is already uploaded. If somebody doesn't hear me, they can hear it. You will send the link.
ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीयुतापदकमलं गुणातान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरद्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत राधा श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। On a Sunday, in fact, Sachiputra Prabhu has called term some of our newly Brahmin Sachiputra Brahmins. I'm not kidding. So, the three part is later of them. This so I'm coming. And of course, you have Trivangam Prabhu and Harinam Prabhu as well. Sridhar Krishna Prabhu also got, but it so happened that his father-in-law passed away actually. In fact, he passed away on the day he got. So there was a lot of confusion we were having, whether to tell him because he was about to go ill or just 1 hour before the news was there. So, but anyway, so he's there at his hometown with Mataji because the final rites and everything, 14 days period. So anyway, 3 of them are here, and of course, so many 60 devotees got. So we thought we'll just talk a little bit on this topic. This was again covered by Bhanu Maharaj, this was there partly in the ILS also, and partly when he came to Pune also he did this once. So I'm just knowing this particular topic, on Guru, Guru Tattva, and something related to that. One second, just something little. Yeah. So we'll do something on the topic of Guru and something related to that. So, basically the Guru or the spiritual master, he does two important things, spiritual knowledge, Siksha, and he also two functions of the Guru. One is Shiksha and one is Diksha. So what are the qualifications of a Guru? So of course, this is a little bit academic presentation, so we'll be seeing some things in that as well. The qualifications are that he surrendered to Krishna, he may be a Brahman ability. So we have this very famous verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Kipa Vipra Kivanyasi Shudra Kirinai Jai Krishna Tattvavedi Say Guru Bhav. Whether one is a Brahmana or whether one is a Shudra, that is not important, but the point is, if you know Krishna Tattva, then you can be a spiritual master. Jai Krishna Tattvavedi Say Guru Bhav. So that is Mahaprabhu's comment, or Mahaprabhu's point that he makes in the context of who actually can be a guru. So of course the Shastra also advises that a renunciant should take a renunciant guru. That's again, it makes sense. Because you are also, and he should proper conduct. And of course from a ISKCON perspective, he has to be loyal to the Sampradaya as well as to the society which we are representing. So these are the qualifications of a guru. Mother, you must have seen this in ILS or no? You did not.
Yes.
Yeah. So Prabhupada's qualification, he says, I have not done anything personally, very wonderful. I am simply serving my spiritual master, Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, and all the acharyas in the disciplic succession. So basically that means the guru never takes proprietorship over the disciples. I remember, once I asked Govind Prabhu, why, since some years, Maharaj, whenever he gives initiation, first initiation, he says, nowadays, on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, we give you must have noticed it. Huh? Somehow in 97, he was not a habit of it. So, but recently means since maybe 10 years, I think most of you, when you got initiated, you would have perhaps told it. They give you the new. So, Bhaktisiddhanta assist by that makes me very happy. You must very strictly observe the regulative principles and chant 16 rounds a day, and Krishna will give you guidance. So, following Srila Prabhupada is extremely important for us. In our Sampradaya, it's very important that everybody follows Prabhupada. So, just to tell you some recent update, in the recent DBC meetings in Mayapur, they have passed a resolution that henceforward in Kirtans, I don't know how many of you must have read that article on Dandavats, it has come now, the main The Vaishnavacharya, there's some you can sing. You will not on the one come back to the rule regulation is very important for a sadhaka. Sadhaka is bound by rules and regulations. We are none of us are in raga bhakti stage. I mean, obviously, we know what is going on inside. So I don't think anybody can claim that. So we cannot, act like that. Correct? It's like that. Yeah.
For preaching purpose, we don't. You cannot sing alone. If you go alone, then.
Or some of you and your wife are singing at home, and you are like extremely moved by Radharani's mercy, and you don't want to do it. You could. But we are talking about the rule basically talks about public program, which includes all your yatras and everything. So that's a ISPA program. Or counseling meetings and temple programs. It's all ISPA program.
I think the mood is that you should not do it alone also, no? Because the mood is not to take it cheaply. So it is extension also.
Yeah, in a way it does, but obviously nobody catch your throat at home. That's okay. You can decide to do what you want to do. Correct?
Maharaj Singh.
Yeah. So see, please try to understand the point is that see how I would some great personality in many sannyasis is not even singing many of these. Please remember. So it's not that when they have made a rule that only our spiritual master has been singing. No, many sannyasis have been singing. They have put up a list of 10 things which you are not supposed to sing in forward. And all these things have been sung by almost everybody in this world. Yeah. But you can see it in 2-3 ways. Sometimes you may see it like that, when somebody like that is singing, then maybe they can, actually channelize the energy of the audience. But it's not necessary that it can happen every time. And the points they are saying is correct only. It increases unnecessarily bodily consciousness, competition. Woman will say Radha, men Sham. Why? For what is the connection? Our current material body has nothing to do with Radha Krishna's eternal existence. You understand the point? You understood? It unnecessarily creates a wrong understanding. That means we are women, we are, Radharani's devotees, and these men are, Krishna's people. It creates an unnecessarily sentimental understanding, which is incorrect. You understood, huh? It is very important not to become overly sentimental. It's very important actually. That causes a lot of problems. You can never remain balanced if you become too sentimental. You just kind of get swept away. Many people, if you see, sentimentalism, also leads to all kind of wrong understandings. And like, I'll just tell you a simple thing. Recently, we were dealing with one situation where, one particular senior devotee, he was having some kind of a little bit problem. So we told the juniors that was senior person was a counselor. So we told him that now you cannot follow him for some reason. You have to follow some other counselor because some small problem with him. But the juniors were so sentimentally attached to that senior. They were like, how can it be our senior? He's so nice. How can he have a problem? He's good. So this is sentimentalism. Sentimentalism comes in various ways actually. It's always so we were trying to tell them that try to be senior. There are two. The wrong way of seeing a senior is my senior did one mistake, so he's a rascal. Throw him out, kick him out, blasphemy. You understood? These both are extremes. You have to be situated in the middle. What is the middle? He's senior to me, but he's a sadhaka. He is also undergoing his own challenges in life. And once a while, it can even happen that he will also face problems and have to accommodate him. You understood? So that's a very balanced way of seeing it. But most people, they generally tend to be on the extreme only. So, and especially people who are on the sentimental side. So when we said this, in some particular place recently, so many of the councillors were crying and they were like, "Wow, how we're they always which is given by some guru to the disciple in the past times, that is important for me. Where do you stop it? Are you understanding? There's no place where you stop. You got it? So that faith in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is very important. That is also a very important thing, which we are sometimes tending to forget. Like according to Srila Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, they say that any kirtan should contain Hare Krishna and Jai to all the deities. He has given one class, Jayadeva Swami, you can hear that on Kirtan Reform. He says that most ISKCON Kirtans or devotee with the awesome 25% Krishna, Radha, there is Ganna, Shaligram, then she Gauranita. It is necessary somehow we subconsciously feel that it is apparently lacking. That's why I need to substitute with so many other things. This is a very subtle thing, but this is what our leaders have identified as the disease. This is what Prabhupada identified as a disease. Protest people, you have who is best, he says. He's a Brahmana, so that is Varna. He's sannyasi, that is ashrama. He's Indian, that is race. He's senior, that is age. He's handsome, that is appearance. He dresses nicely, that's again appearance. There's lots of money, that's wealth. He has a big zone, that's power. He has many disciples, that is followers. So these are all wrong conceptions. Why you should not go for a guru because of all this? Yeah, so this is again very important. Untenable claims, my guru is the best because he is Nitya Siddha. I mean, that was again, this is a very thing. He is Uttam Adhikari where others are only Madhyamas. Actually, we cannot say this only. Because it takes one to know one, fundamentally. You only know that your guru is very exalted, much more than you, much more than you. But, you cannot say that he is Prema Bhakti or, you cannot make such a statement within, you just cannot, because you are not there. How do you know? We others are not in that situation, right? So you cannot claim like that. You understand now what I'm saying? So these are things, these are very important in culture and in the way people talk to each other, etc. You can have it in your heart, your shraddha towards the personality, but you cannot say this to you because it's just arising out of sentimentalism. Who told you? practices what he preaches. You can see his personality. He's doing that. He's attracted to chanting Krishna's names. He's addicted to Krishna's names. He does. He's chanting very nicely. He sings. I mean, he is. He takes kirtan very seriously, like that. He's loyal to ISKCON. That means he follows. A very strict follower of Srila Prabhupada. At least for our line, this is important. For an ISKCON initiated devotee. Devotees. That's again very important. As far as I'm concerned, we know you Bhagavad Marga. So these are the two tracks. As such, if you see out of the two, the Bhagavad Marga which is there, this is the kind of the Yuga Dharma for this age. The Yuga Dharma comes in the Bhagavad Marga. Correct? So the Yuga Dharma is what? The Yuga Dharma is not worship of the deity. In Kali Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is chanting of the holy name. Okay. So the Bhagavad Marga involves Shiksha, teaching. And it involves the holy name of the Lord. And it involves Kirtan, chanting. So in the Bhagavad Marga, traditionally, the initiation aspect does not come here. Traditionally. In the Pancharatrika Marg, it comes. Because the Pancharatrika Marg, there is Diksha. A person is given the mantra. The Guru gives various 6-7 mantras he gives. And there is Archana. That is one worships the deity. So, as we know, these two are considered like two tracks of the railway line. And, both of them are very helpful. So I especially request, all the devotees who have received second initiation and who have already been second initiated before, to really, kind of use this facility. So please, it actually benefits you. That means when you actually worship the deity, this particular way. You understood? Like when you actually engage in deity worship, through this Pancharaga, it actually it yields great amount of satisfaction and pleasure. Like, I'm not very qualified to speak that because I've not been a very regular guy doing this, but at least in the last 1 year since NVCC opened up, before when I got second initiation for a long time, I and my wife both would go to Kunjibari to worship. But then later when we had our kids, so it became a little difficult to do that. But fortunately, since the last 1 year, I'm going again, and I personally have seen that it's a wonderful service actually. It's very, very, you feel really very close to the Lord. And it's really very purifying and wonderful to be in that environment. The whole deity worship, if you see, half an hour before you enter the altar, you have to sit and chant and get your mood right before you go into the altar. And then you go in and it is such a formal process of worshipping the Lord. The 16 offerings, the Shodashopchar that we call it, very formal way of worshipping Him. You can actually see, how the Lord is the King when you actually enter the altar and, you can actually see that how it's there, but the Bhagavad marks, keeps you with that focus. Because there is a reading of the Bhagavatam, Krishna Katha, chanting of the holy name, so you are well grounded. Otherwise, you can just become ritualistic or sentimental. If you have the Bhagavad, so Bhagavad mark is extremely important. But it is just mark there. It basically helps us, as they say, develop two important qualities of punctuality and cleanliness. Because once you enter the altar, you see how important punctuality and cleanliness is over there. Like for example, when you're seeing the altar, if it touches any part of your body, you have to do acham. You get trained to that, You get trained to doing work without touching anywhere. It means you have purified your hands before you go in. And if you touch anywhere, you touch here, what to speak of, some other things that you commonly do, and just kind of brush it aside, you get into that habit actually. 2 hours you have to sit there without touching anything. And initially, when you go, you're like stunned. How can it be possible? Because like Guru Goswami and others will say, hey, Adaman Karo, yeah, Shiva, why Shiva? But then after some time you get conditioned to that. So it actually helps in improving overall cleanliness, punctuality, things like that. It really does actually. So that is the benefit actually. And it fixes you on the Lord's form. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur he which do not have, you can't say that I will not connect myself with matter. So he says that those people who inevitably tend to have mundane heroes in their life, whose form they worship and adore. It is not possible that they will say that I will not care about any form. People get attached to matter actually. But I mean, they criticize deity worship as worshipping matter, but they actually get. He writes a very long article proving that those who criticize deity worship, saying that you are getting materially involved, actually they get materially involved. But the worshipper of the deity, he transcends. Because he actually worships the Lord through that. Because that is a very wonderful way you see the Lord. So especially it is very important that once is second initiated, it is not but rather if he has that facility and if he has that inclination, he would actually take this as one part of this privilege. It's a wonderful opportunity. And in fact, in our temple, in Pune and Bombay, the pujari department is different. There are some certain fixed full-time pujaris, they only keep worshipping. Here, fortunately, we have this culture here, especially in Chowpatty, Pune, maybe some places where part-time people are allowed. You can come and you can do and you can go. This facility does not exist every place actually. So we have, correct? Huh? You see, huh?
Like, add to this,
Yeah.
all the facility that you said. In Mayapur, we have pujaris, who 365 days, they are the one who do night dressing literacy. So they don't any purpose to get a chance to do it.
Yeah, here it is not like that.
Yeah, so we should make us a very.
Yeah, if you go around in ISKCON and understand what happens across, you understand that what you get here. You have a facility to come and worship. I'm more than happy to entertain people. Understood? And in fact, I mean, if more people come, the seva will increase. So many things can happen. Seva will increase. So, so these are some things actually which I just wanted to share, especially in the context of our second initiative devotees, that please use this facility to actually worship the deity. So please, how good we can. No, but somehow that formal, one servant is there, what kind of king? I mean, how can so the standards are much you at least, of course, one thing is you want to dress days or something like that. That much is all. House standards are generally at that level. But temple standards are much wonderful and to participate in. Yeah, so why the Archana Marg is there? I'm just kind of a little bit emphasizing on. So actually, why I'm also saying this is because ultimately, if you see, everybody has an opportunity for this. It just depends on, like I mean, I remember Sarvatma was not here, but that time many people, when Balaji service came up, initially they are first initiated towards it. Nobody was ready to come. And many people were first initiated. Balaji, and Balaji was over there. Nobody was ready to come, but somehow very few people started coming, and they all got a chance to continue that service. You understood? So the point is, there are some service opportunities you just cannot afford to miss. It has a lot of implication actually, because it has tremendous purification in it. Which generally, we should not, we should look forward to. So reasons for Archanamar, because the fickle mind of the devotee, Archanamar is often recommended along with Bhagavatamar to engage all his senses in deity worship along with chanting the names. This is a real point. To fix the mind on the Lord. You're constantly, for example, if you're dressing the deity in the temple, you will see that 5:20, 5:10 the puja is ended, and 7:30 they come out. Last 20 minutes, they are just with rather to make it more beautiful. You're totally fixed on that. It's wonderful actually. It really, it really engages your senses in his service. So that is the purification. Sampradaya is called. Second is Tapa, Krishna Das. There is a name. The fourth is Krishna Mantra, and fifth is Archana. I'll just explain all these things briefly. That means there are 5 symbols of initiated devotee. The first is called Tilaka, of being initiated, only at the time of initiation. Of course, in our situation in ISKCON, we even encourage those who are not initiated to wear Tilaka. They can wear, because they have accepted Prabhupada, so they wear a Tilaka. But officially, if you ask, a Tilaka is worn. That's why you will see Bhaktivinoda Thakur, once he is in Bhaktivinoda is already born. Vaishnava, you are Tilaka, you are challenging all this Tilaka. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur humbly says that I have not yet received a guru. How can I wear the Tilaka? Because in the Gaudiya Sampradaya there were different sects and everybody had a different Tilaka. Like the Shamanandis have another Tilaka, and So the Tilaka is given by the Guru at the time of Diksha. Your Tilaka indicates which Sampradaya you belong to. Of course, in the ISKCON context, it does not matter. No matter who you take initiation, you Tilaka. You're Udar in that. You put Tilaka for everybody also. Sometimes you will see in some Rath Yatra there is a booth. Put Tilaka and Gopi dots, and many, especially ladies and all, like it looks quite fancy. The second is branding. That means taking symbols. So one of this is also an indication of being initiated. That's called as branding. But of course, this branding here refers to some kind of metal stamp, which is put. Like the Sri Vaishnavas have that. They put Shankha Chakra, metal stamp. That is the initiation actually. The Guru, he puts on your both shoulders, one shoulder Shankha and one Chakra. So you get that thing. So it has been there actually, even in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, like devotees write Hare Krishna on their, with Tilaka also people write. I have seen many brahmacharis who put Hare Krishna, they write on their chest, or they do something like that is actually branding. But one thing, of course, is the Tulasi Mala that we accept. That is also, that comes under this only, the second thing. That's why at the time of first initiation, there is one Kantimala given. Seen that, no? Kantimala is there. So that Kantimala is given at the time of initiation. It's like that. It's a branding. The third is Krishna Das, a name connected to Krishna. That means, a name gives a sense of identity. Like Raja was telling very nicely that recently he was in MBCC, so some big manager from Bajaj came. The Raja was describing, he had a huge belly, a big guy, one big Mr. Singh. So he arrived in MBCC and he gave his card. So so he was saying that how a card creates an introduction. He said, I am so and so Mr. Singh, I am the general manager in Bajaj. and we produce motorcycles. And he was like going on saying how they produce motorcycles. So I said, no, the way he's describing it as if motorcycles are coming out of his belly only. But that was a sense of identification. Strong. You give a card, who is there? This world, thing I'm a general manager. There is company and we manufacture motorcycles. Currently, I am in the Pulsar unit or whatever. So he was describing that how strong that identification is. You understood? So that identification needs to be broken, and you need a spiritual identification, and that is what Krishna Das is. So when you get a name, so and so Das, then you get that identification that I am this actually. I am not that. I am not that big general manager manufacturing motorcycles from Delhi, but rather I am a servant of Krishna.
Branding still it is followed in the Gaudiya version.
It's followed? Yeah? I don't know. You're saying or? Oh no, I really don't know. I'm not sure. But I know one thing that the Tilaka comes in that only, Pancha Samskar. We have 5 Samskaras. One is this, one is this, one is the name, and the fourth is the Gayatri Mantra. The fourth is the Krishna Mantra. Krishna Mantra means there is Krishna Nama and there is Krishna Mantra. Remember, like Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you read, it constantly comes Krishna Nama, Krishna Mantra. So the Krishna Nama basically is what? Krishna Nama is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And the Krishna Mantra is the mantra used in worshipping the deity. And that is the mantra that, the second initiated devotees receive at the time of their initiation. The Krishna Mantra. That mantra has to be chanted with reference to the deity. So it's like that. So that is Krishna Mantra. And the fifth is the process of Archana in general. The sacred thread, that's the thing. The sacred thread that is received, that the sacred thread is the connection with Krishna Mantra and Archana. Archana is the process of actually worshipping the Lord. So these are the 5 Pancha Samskara for a Gaudiya Vaishnava. So it's not an issue. Yeah, go ahead.
Like as we discussed, about establishing the importance of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and not being sentimental.
Yeah.
The policy paper that has come up with the GTC. So even like there must be some mention regarding this Das or Dasi. Because after initiation, the devotees think that they are so and so, and they identify themselves with that particular personality and not with the mood of the servant of the servants. So even that should be added. I feel that it's very important because that is sentimentalism. That is misidentification.
You are talking about.
I'm Radha Rasika speaking.
Yeah.
For example.
So, what is wrong in that? I think you should say Dasi.
You say Dasi or Dasi.
Oh, yeah. Correct. Then we introduce ourselves, huh? Yeah, of course. But they write in the preface itself. Of course, one thing the GBC is going to come up in the next 6 months is whether women are to be addressed as Devi, Dasi, Prabhu or Mataji. What? So they are making a good research on it, and in 6 months it will come out officially. क्या बोलना चाहिए माताजी लोगों को? इंडिया में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, माताजी को माताजी बोला है, लेकिन वेस्ट में प्रॉब्लम है. देवी तो हमको माताजी को बोलते हैं, हमको प्रभु बोलना चाहिए, मास्टर. Or some feel that we call as Devi, or some feel that we call as Das. So ISKCON has appointed a 4-man team to do full research from all perspectives and come out with a final conclusion. What are ladies to be addressed as?
सब ठीक चल रहा है मुझे इतना क्यों एनालिसिस
इंडिया में प्रॉब्लम नो ठीक चल रहा है भाई हमारे यहाँ तो प्रॉब्लम नहीं चल रहा there are problems in other places in the world
everything is fine
everything is fine only to say everything is right anyway I'll tell you later. So of course there is Vedic Diksha. The Vedic Diksha means in the Vedic Diksha the Gayatri mantra was given and the Upanayana was done. You understood? So if you see, until Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in the Mantra Diksha, the Gayatri was not given. The first Gayatri. The Vedic Gayatri was never given. If somebody was born in a Brahmin family, he got it. Otherwise, he didn't get it. He only got the Krishna Mantra. He didn't get the Vedic Gayatri. Because this is Pancharatrika Vidhi. In Pancharatrika Vidhi, the Vedic Gayatri actually does not come. The Vedic Gayatri comes only in the Vedic initiation then. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wanted to, very strongly say that, why is a Vaishnava in any way lesser than a Brahmana? So he should get it. So he added the Vedic Gayatri as well as the sacred thread to the Pancha Samskar. So in this Pancha Samskar that we are talking, these two are not there, but they were added by Saraswati Thakur. And Srila Prabhupada added by giving that to women as well. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati also added that only to men, not to women. But Prabhupada added women also because that name was passed on. Anyway. Yeah, so basically, the first initiation basically means there is the tilaka, there is the tapa, the kantimala, there is the Krishna. And the second initiation is the Krishna mantra and actually formally worshipping the deity along with chanting of the Gayatri. Yeah, so another thing is in ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada gave a unprecedented status, a very high level of status to the first initiation itself. That's how it is currently. So the first initiation itself is because even in the Gaudiya Math, the first initiation was never considered at that level of initiation. But Srila Prabhupada gave it that way. So basically what that basically means is even a devotee is first initiated, is formally accepted into the parampara. Whereas, previously it was not that way. So Prabhupada as a founder Acharya did that. And that's, these are some particular things. Yeah, so the Diksha Guru is one, he gives mantra and the name, he gives knowledge. Shiksha is many, he gives these things. Yeah, so of course, I will not know. Yeah, okay. So these are some different things which I'm not going into currently. I'm going to some other presentation currently, but until now, is there any question or comment? I mean, anybody had any question to ask before I go to the next part of my presentation? Yeah, Achuk, you had something.
So you were telling that.
Answer.
You were telling that we should not think that Guru will be some training exam. But I feel that kind of faith is required for a sadhaka.
Guru should not.
You should not think that Guru is training bhakta or something.
Ah, yeah. Means, you can think in your heart. You should not go around talking like that as a culture. You
But
understand
a faith one should have that Guru is very.
Yeah, it's very, very advanced. What is most important is much advanced than where you are.
One more question. When you showing mark is bhavana, is not bhavana.
may not be in initiation, but still through an instruction, through shiksha, and they are telling me chant this and I chant. I have benefit. Why don't I have benefit? There are so many people who are uninitiated for several years. It doesn't mean that their chanting has no phala. Because informally with the Bhagavad mark, they are connected only already. They are connected to that line of shiksha. And because of the line of shiksha, they are chanting. That chanting has benefit. Whimsically, one cannot take any name of Krishna and start chanting. That's the point being made. Is that okay? As far as the mantra is concerned, that is formal only. That's not informal. Is that okay?
You were sharing with George Harrison. He was chanting Hare Krishna.
He was chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada told him to chant Hare Krishna. He chanted. He was benefited.
In ISKCON, the second initiation is for only for duty worship or some other people also, because some places it is seen that the senior devotees are even they are not able to get into, like they are preaching heavily, but so many programs they have, but they may not be interested in duty worship, but still they are.
Actually speaking, the second initiation is only for duty worship. It is not for, if you ask actually. I mean, what is the application of it? If you ask, it is only for duty worship. But sometimes what happens is, it becomes a management thing. You understand what I'm saying? Like for example, somebody is a very senior person, is doing so many things, and that fellow doesn't get, and somebody else, who says I have visibility, he gets. So this fellow says, I will stop that and do this now. But from a managerial perspective, you need him to do that. Are you understanding? You understand what I'm saying? You need him to do that, na? Because if he doesn't do that, how will the temple run? So, we strike a balance. We give the senior people, but we expect that they worship the deity. Without that, it does not make any sense. That is the purification for which it is given. Otherwise, why? Why at all? There is no meaning at all. The mantra is given only in context with the worship of the deity. There is, as such, no other. It is not a status symbol or anything. But then, unfortunately, it becomes like that in practice. So you have to respect that perspective also. So that's what happens. For example, Radha Maharaj has told us formally that all counselors should get second initiation. Because, we asked him this question recently. He said that no, anybody is serving as a counselor, he should get it. Even if he's not worshipping the deity. It is expected that he will do that also.
In turn, they will come.
But it is expected that he will do that also. But because if he's serving at that particular level, then he has to be so we do it. But still it is not that he just gets and walks off. It is expected that he will worship the deity. So then only there is a purification.
I have a question that there are 5 elements to the picture. In that there is Archana also. So if we are not doing it, it is not like
No, it is not. Come on. That's not what it means. Yeah, ideally it is expected that one goes ahead in that way. It is expected, and it is possible also. Everybody will get it. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time, and it's also a matter of inclination, responsibility. In ISKCON, second initiation is also seen as a sign of more commitment and responsibility. Person who takes more responsibility. You understand what I'm saying? That means you take more commitment and responsibility. So that is also treated important for this. Because from practical sense, it makes sense. No? If you're taking responsibility, you're given the facility. You understood? If you're not taking more responsibility, then there's no facility. But if you're ready to take more responsibility in service, you get more facility. I don't see anything wrong in that. Correct? So somebody who is preaching more and who is managing, counseling, doing these things, he also is given a facility. But he should use that facility in connection with the deity. He should use. He's given a facility. But if he's taking responsibility, he should be given that facility. Otherwise, it's like not very just on him. That was the whole reason. Last year, a whole lot of 30-40 devotees got, but they were kind of quote-unquote junior, to many people who were for several years waiting but who did not get. So that caused a little bit of problem for people because somebody who has taken so much responsibility, but if I've taken so much responsibility, this also I'll do now. Why will I not do it? You understand? So it makes sense. Right?
What qualities a person should be, looking for? If I have these qualities, then only he should. It's not that you don't have the qualities inside you. And sometimes devotees also think, who decides that these qualities are there in him?
sometimes you yourself probably feel that, hey, I'm so, so much of lust is there within my heart. I get angry so fast. I get provoked by anger, so what qualification I have to get second
Initiation is not for a person who is free from all anarthas and who's thing. Initiation is meant, initiation is the beginning, it is not the end. It is meant for a person who starts the path and who wishes to serve Krishna in a way so that he actually, goes ahead in life. Correct? Huh? That is why initiation is given. So what the qualification basically is that, he has that commitment. So what is the vow that is taken at Brahman? That I affirm my vow to chant 16 rounds and follow 4 rights and to follow Brahminical culture. To follow Brahminical culture. To follow Brahminical culture, I tell you what it means. Like Prabhupada once initiated one devotee, second initiation he gave him. The next day this person was sitting and he was eating fruits with a spoon. He was sitting with Prabhupada and the devotee, they were taking spoon and they were eating fruits. He took the spoon, with the spoon he put some apple in his mouth and he kept it down and he just touched his dhoti. Prabhupada caught it. Prabhupada said, what kind of Brahman are you? So that disciple, he had his own logic. His logic was that my hand was not in my mouth, it was only the spoon. So my hand is pure. But he said that obviously I didn't want to argue with Prabhupada, all this. Because Prabhupada's understanding of Brahminical culture was much more refined than my own. You understand this, no? So Brahminical culture means who strives to follow it. Strives to follow Brahminical culture means what? Takes bath regularly at least 2 times a day. That means he is very conscious of it. At least twice a day I have to take bath. Correct, man? All those rules which are there. That too in our voice only we emphasize. If you have slept for 1 hour, you should take bath. Not that you just sleep and get up and you start your routine activity. This is all part of Brahminical culture, right? Maintaining that cleanliness, you tap your nose or something, you wash up. So many things are there, right? About Brahminical culture. I mean, these are the very elementary things. And then there are some more advanced, finer aspects. Correct or no? So if a person has inclination towards that, he goes ahead in that domain. That's it. Correct? Is that okay?
I thought the first initiation you don't have to have. The second initiation,
No.
accepts you. There is a saying, the first initiation you accept the Guru, second initiation Guru accepts you.
No, I don't know. I have never heard any such saying. I'm not very sure about it. In the branding you said Kantimalakam. And
Actually, stamp comes.
so what about the tattoos and all those things?
Tattoo.
Nowadays people
That is a Western deviation, and
see, you cannot be speculative. You cannot just speculate anything, what looks good, keep blushing as they or the back or right? Okay, so I think this particular topic is done with. I mean, everyone is reasonably okay. Yeah.
The idea for second initiation is nothing but taking more responsibility.
Yeah, it's just taking more responsibility and commitment. That's it. That's in a nutshell. That's about it. Just taking more responsibility and commitment. For me. It's expected. Yeah. Of course, in general also you take, see, please remember, deity doesn't mean only the deity. Deity includes devotee as well. The Prabhupada says that if a pujari is standing on the altar and a guest comes and there is no one to attend, the pujari has to have the brain to stop his deity worship, come out and talk to that person nicely, introduce him to Krishna consciousness, and then go back and worship the Lord. So deity worship, that's a culture that includes so many other things. It is not, you don't see it isolated from it. You understand what I'm saying? Yes or no? Yeah. So a pujari is not that he is only deity. That's Kanishta. He has to see the deity and the devotees also. That is there. It is there. You cannot see it that way. Yeah.
But is it necessary that if your juniors are second initiated, you have to be second initiated, because like more like a status symbol?
See, because we are in an organization, those things are also there. Because you're an organization. Organization means there are. Ideally, it may not be that way, but then it becomes, see, because the senior person is taking more responsibility, no? Is taking more responsibility or no?
Familiar means that is with respect to only deity worship. Na? He may be taking so like I know Satyanarayana Prabhu. If you see, such a very senior devotee is so much very
Yeah.
so much preaching. You know schedule like so much schedule. He comes in the night at 11 o'clock. So much preaching. But I think he has not taken second initiation like that.
No, he
Because
took right now.
he took now this time.
Yeah.
This step.
He would have got, surely would have got. I know he would have
No,
got.
he himself didn't want to take because of this he could not do deity worship.
So now see what we recommend to the person is continue your preaching, take out little bit time and do this also. You have to take care of your that purification aspect also. No? Correct. No? Ultimately, what are we preaching to people? We are preaching to people to follow 64 processes of devotional service. And 64 processes of devotional, 32 are related to deity. So you have to practice also a little bit. If you see Rupa Goswami, 64 parts of 64 parts of NOD में जो आते हैं ना 64. इधर 32 are related to the deity. And out of the 5, one is deity worship. Yes or no? Prasad is also not among the 5. In fact, Prasad is not among all the 64. I was like, kind of a little surprised. I was just contemplating on this. We say A, B, C, D, but the D doesn't come in it. A, B, C is there, but D is not there in there. Anyway, so 32 are related to the deity. So if you are preaching that to people, you have to get into it also, right? Krishna was not to preach to people that उसको 64 करने चाहिए, ये करना चाहिए, वो करना चाहिए. Cool. It doesn't work.
Maybe we understand always that only you should go. That is why that blockage was there.
No,
Because
exactly.
if you get all those qualities, then only Brahman quality, then only.
I think that there is no end to thinking about it. When I get the quality and all that. I think we will get stranded. I mean, we'll go nowhere. Okay. Any other point here? One, give him the mic.
The translation of Diksha is done as initiation. So initiation we generally say in the beginning, in relation to the English word, but Diksha is the meaning which you have just
That is why you have to always go back to the Sanskrit word. The Sanskrit word contains many things which are not there in the English word. See, initiation, if you see from the English perspective, it means initiate. Initiate means what? I initiated an activity, I will begin. So it is from that perspective that it comes. But actually, Diksha means Divyan and Papakshaya. Now, how do you convert that to English word? What word will you give for it? So, like one author, very famous person, he writes that most Sanskrit terms are not translatable into English. You don't have an English word for it. Diksha को क्या बोलने का भी अंग्रेजी?
Diksha.
We say
Same word.
same word we say. That's all. We go back to the Sanskrit word. That only continues. Okay, my purpose in telling you all of you this also is that even those who are currently first initiated, like in our temple there are some things like Prabhupada Seva and all. For example, you are now coming to this, so you can ensure that you can give it to some others who are interested in that domain.
Somebody else is coordinating.
Somebody else is coordinating. You are not now. I thought you were only coordinating.
Temple Brahmachari.
Okay. So there are some kind of opportunities that are always available. So devotees have to just take it up, and it's available. Okay, fine. So I'll just take this one more small topic for 15 minutes and then we conclude. Something connected to this, but of course it is something different as well. But this is very important. This is especially, sorry, I don't know why this has happened. Oh my God. 1 second. Some major problem with my PPT. I said I have already done all these things. Oh, 1 second. Just give me a second. Okay, so I'll just this was a small presentation given by Bhakti Charu Maharaj, which was very wonderful in the context of how Srila Prabhupada has given us everything, especially in the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So it's connected to this because we're still talking about initiation and we're talking about Krishna Naam, Krishna mantra, and we began by talking about chanting Radharani's name and versus chanting Hare Krishna, etc. So that's why in that context I'm making this presentation. That many times people have felt, there are many people in ISKCON, in many places, who have somehow felt that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is not enough for us. We need something more. We will feel these things. Especially there are many people in ISKCON also, unfortunately, who have been attracted by many Babajis in Vrindavan and other things, who give Siddha Pranali mantra and things like that, thinking that only with that we can get Raga Anuga Bhakti. So in that context, there are many people who have also, many unfortunate people in ISKCON who feel that Prabhupada has given us only Vaidhi Bhakti. That means rules and regulations, but Raga Anuga, spontaneous worship, is not given. So that is why we are all not progressing. Some people have felt several things. So Bhakti Charu Maharaj made very interesting points in this connection. So I'll just tell you 2 or 3 of them, which are important. The first thing he says is that, I'm sorry, for some reason, I'm unable to, some problem in my slideshow, but anyway.
You can show in this mode.
Oh, I can move this like this?
Yeah.
Ah.
Then the textbooks.
The textbook also you can move, no?
Yes.
I hope it has come properly. Yeah. So he was talking that how Prabhupada gave us everything, including Raganuga Bhakti. So basically, so there are 3 types of Bhakti, if you know from NOD. All of you have done Bhakti Shastri, most of you have done, so you know. Vaidhi Bhakti means what? Rules and regulations. And Raganuga Bhakti means what? Raganuga Bhakti means Ragatmika Bhakti Anuga. That means who are the Ragatmikas? The residents of Vrindavan. The Radharani and all the gopis and the gopas, eternal associates are Ragatmikas. Raga Anuga means what? Ragatmika Bhakti Anuga. That means one who is following in the footsteps of the Ragatmikas. They are called as Raganuga. So he was explaining basically from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 3.14 to 29. It's a very interesting section. Some of you can read this later. This section, in this section, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says why he came in this world. So Mahaprabhu says that I have come to this world because I wanted to give this Raganuga Bhakti to people. So in this particular section, Mahaprabhu mentions this, that I have come here, so that, devotees when they follow me, because see, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna in the mood of Radharani. Okay, so he has come in the mood of Radharani, so that when devotees follow him, whom are they following? Radharani they follow. You understood? So if you see this particular section, you understand this point very clearly, that simply by following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a person at one level he is Vaidhi, and as he progresses, he automatically enters into Raganuga Bhakti also. Are you understanding it? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Srimati Radharani herself. In that mood and spirit only has come. And we are all basically followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that comes in this particular section. And Prabhupada's comments on this are very important. Prabhupada's purports in this particular section. They highlight this particular principle. That how, Mahaprabhu has come to give us the highest thing. That's why we say, Anarpita Charimchirat Karunyavati Makalau. He came here to give something that has not been offered for a very long time. And what is it that was not offered for a very long time? Yeah, the worship of Lord Krishna in the mood of Vrindavan, that particular mood. That was not offered for a very long time. So Mahaprabhu's advent is for that purpose only. And by following Mahaprabhu, that is automatically achieved. So that's what he speaks. So Mahaprabhu came in the mood of Radharani, and by following, you follow Radharani by following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You understand this? Thus, worshipping the Lord as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is also Raganuga Bhakti. So Raganuga Bhakti means doesn't mean that one has to see why this is very important is sometimes many of our people have felt that we have to necessarily worship Radharani or some gopi or something like that. Only then we become Raganuga Bhakti. But we forget this very essential principle that Mahaprabhu has come to give us that benefit only. And where there is no misunderstanding or unnecessarily bodily identification also. Where you see Mahaprabhu, in that aspect. It's very beautiful actually to see that. Then also what he did was, he gave us some 2-3 very important shlokas. I will just say one of them and then I'll go to the next. So this is a very famous shloka from Prabodhananda Saraswati's writing. He says, Yata yata gaura padara vinde, vinde tabhaktim krita punya rashi, tata tata utsparati hridi akasmat, radha padambocha shudam ras. So the meaning is, Yata yata gaura padara vinde, as one develops devotion to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Binde tabhaktim krita punya rashi, due to heaps of pious activities, what happens? Tata tata utsarpati hridi akasmat. Accordingly, in his heart erupts love for the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Radha padamboja shudam rasi. So the Madhurya, that means, so the basic thing, so this Prabhupada, what he says is, by worshipping Lord Chaitanya and by following his instruction, what is his instruction? To chant the holy name. And by worshipping him. So that's why Gaur Nita is extremely merciful. He is the he is the personality in this age. So Prabhupada would always say that Gaur Nita can be had even by mediator at home. To say that how Mahaprabhu has come with that audharya, with that magnanimity, to give access to everybody. So by worshipping him, if one starts worshipping him and following Mahaprabhu, and his krita punya rashi means as his pious activities increase. As that increases, automatically he develops love for Radharani. So, this particular presentation of Bhakti Sarva Maharaj was very wonderful. He was again trying to connect us back to Prabhupada in a very wonderful way by saying that how Prabhupada, what he gave us, if we just stick to that, you get everything. And that was the essence of what he was speaking. Because Prabhupada gave us the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and he gave us the worship of Gaur Nita. And if one just sticks to that, chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with great faith and worshipping Sri Sri Gaur Nita, as one progresses, automatically one internally, because ultimately all this Vaidhi, Raganuga, all this is an internal state of consciousness. This is not some external thing. It's an internal state of consciousness as one progresses. He was saying that, if you see all these shlokas, then he was quoting another shloka also, which I will say and then again make this point and then conclude today's presentation. So he was quoting from Navadvip Dham Mahatmya. So in the Navadvip Dham Mahatmya, the 18th chapter, there is an instruction by Lord Nityananda Prabhu to Jiva Goswami where he says, when the worship of Gauranga in Dasya Ras reaches to full maturity, Madhurya Ras naturally awakens the heart towards Radha Krishna and Gauranga drowns one in Madhurya Rasa. It's a very classic shloka spoken by Lord Nityananda Prabhu to Jiva Goswami. So that means when the worship of Gauranga, so we are interested to worship, we are actually Gaura Bhaktas. So we are worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Dasya Ras. As a servant of Mahaprabhu, if in that consciousness we actually worship him. How do we worship Mahaprabhu? By following his instruction, by reading and hearing about him. And I mean, especially, the Chaitanya Charitamrita is a very classic masterpiece which Srila Prabhupada has given us. It's that, any time you can just take it. And it reaches its full maturity, it transforms to Madhurya towards Radha Krishna. And one gets it. You understood this? So these are 2-3 very important quotes which he got out. In fact, his lecture when Bhakti Maharaj gave, people were actually, very stunned. It was very simple. I mean, apparently, these 2-3 references are already there, but people did not really connect it. Gaurang Prabhu was attending this session. I was also there at that time. She was saying that Maharaj, what you are saying is so, it makes so much sense, because, but unfortunately, because devotees sometimes they have nothing better to do, so they just keep thinking, where I don't have something. What you have, you see, Baba, that way. You have so much with you. But that, the tendency of the mind is to not see what you have. It is to imagine what you don't have and think that if I get that only then, because of that I am not advanced. So like sometimes it is said, the mind, one nature of the mind is simply it causes reason to be dissatisfied. It's the nature of the mind. The mind always gives various reasons why you should never be satisfied. Materially also it is like that, spiritually also it is like that only, the mind works. Materially also we see, no matter which position we get in the material world, we are always dissatisfied only. Correct or not? Like in college and all, we had 6th pay at one point of time. We were very happy that time. When 6th pay came, after some time, we are still dissatisfied only. Not that we are completely dissatisfied. Correct? What do you say, Dina? Not at all. You are waiting for 7th pay. You understood? So, the mind always gives reason to be permanently dissatisfied. And in spirituality also same thing happens. When we come, we think that ye to mil gaya, Hare Krishna Mahamandir hai, ye sab. और क्या चाहिए? अरे उसके पास वो मत है. अरे you see what you have about it. That is enough. That was the essence of Bhakti Dharma's presentation. Do that process very nicely and you'll get complete benefit. So he spoke on this. Now Nityananda Prabhu's statement, Prabhupada Saraswati. So basically the essence of this Nityananda Prabhu's statement is that serving Gauranga and Dasya transforms to Madhurya. And the essence of this particular statement which we saw, this verse of Prabhupada Saraswati, is that same thing. You worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the heaps of your 5 activities increase, then automatically what happens? Love for Radharani. That's it. So you don't have to do anything very separate. Mantra, directly, worshipping Radha some way. You don't have to do anything like that. Just stick to the process. The process is fantastic. And you get everything. So he spoke on this particular thing, which I'm just summarizing in a nutshell. But it was connected to the other things that I spoke earlier. Any brief question or comment on this? Then we will. Yeah.
Sri Shiva Padaratam, that shloka is there. Yeah, last one. So it is. It represents which stage?
It represents Vipralamba, Prema and Vipralamba. You see, the first verse which is the Cheto Darpana Marjanam, that is Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. Then the second verse Nam Akari Bahuda, Nija Sarvasya Tattara Pita Niyamita Smarane, Dud Daivam, it is Anarthana Vritti. The third one which is the Trinadapi, that is Nishtha. After Anarthana Vritti. Nadanam Najanam is Ruchi, taste. Then Nanda Kingdom is Asakti. Because of deep attachment to Krishna, you crying out, Nanda Kingdom, when you like. Second one is Prema in meeting, and the eighth one is Prema in Viraha. Yeah, everything is obtained by the chanting of the holy name, one progresses. That's the point. Mahaprabhu did not emphasize on anything so much. Yuga itam nimeshana, yeah.
Just one thing in that. Keshav was asking that question about, you were explaining that we also give the Mahamantra to give people to come to temple.
Yeah.
And then, are we initiating? But we also see in the outside world also, if we compare two students, one student is, trying to purchase some books from market and trying to do his engineering course. Another student takes formally admission in college. We see that he is having direct access to the professors, but he has to pay the cost of following the rules and regulations of the university and colleges. Here also we say that after a person gets initiated, then he has direct connection to spiritual master. He can directly pray. He can directly get mercy also.
Yeah. No, that is correct only. So where we are saying that, see, that means the Hare Krishna Mahamantra at our thing is at two levels. One is there is an order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to everybody to chant, right? Mahaprabhu gave a public order to chant Hare Krishna Mantra. So that order we are giving on behalf of Mahaprabhu to people. So that order which you are giving, like for example, you are going to a college and you are giving everybody beads and asking them to chant, you are representing that order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? That's what you are standing over there doing. So it's on that order that these people are chanting. So they get that benefit. But when they get initiated, first initiation, and they get a formal connection to the parampara, then they become culturally connected. For example, you become actually very formally connected, and you feel that connection. It's just like, for example, a person is actually married to a girl, and he has just fallen in love with the girl. So, it's fine to be in love, but then ultimately when you're actually married, you're formally connected and things begin. Okay?
Previously, as you said, traditionally holy name was not the mantra was not there as part of the Diksha.
Nama.
The Nama. So then what was the,
Diksha.
yeah,
Mantra.
from
The mantra.
Gaudiya perspective.
Yeah. There was mantra.
The Guru takes all the karma. So what is that qualification of Gurus? Because since even at one stage, the Gurus, they are just like, after GBC gives them the order to become a Guru. So what is that qualification that they takes the all karmas and not others, that means Siksha Guru and Patadasha Guru? Because this, the moment we come and
The qualification is that they're giving shelter. That means if you give shelter to a person, you accept what he is. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, see, giving shelter means taking responsibility. So when you give shelter to a person, you take responsibility for that person. Like I'll tell you, for example, it works at different levels. Like Radhanath Swami was once telling Gaurang Prabhu and Radhesham Prabhu, when they were traveling in a car together, when you are taking shelter of some people and sending them to me, please remember you share the karma. He made this point. He said, because you are actually giving shelter to them on my way or whatever. So you are responsible for them. So you also share their karma. So giving shelter is the process. So giving shelter means what? Taking responsibility for someone. So that's why, for example, when I'm just giving another example. When we make someone into a counselor or something, and if he does some mistake, for example, and we just keep mum. I'm just giving you an example. Just keep mum. That giving shelter to people karma. Correct?
Only one more I will tell that the talk between Rajachandra Moot and Gaurav Guru. So even it is applicable for the position of counselor.
Shiksha Guru.
Not on counselor also, because they are the part of the.
Yeah. They are responsible. I mean, anybody in an authority, if you're taking an authority in a seat of position, you're responsible only. You're responsible. You're watching for a person, right? You're saying so you're responsible for that individual. At different levels, you are. It is karmically offensive to. I mean, it's karmically wrong, where you just promote somebody and then you don't care for that person. Yeah, I think we'll just take the last questions and then we'll end. Go ahead, one second. Let the mic go. One second. Let the mic go there.
Narottam Das Thakur had a Gopal mantra,
Yeah.
and I was just wondering, like, did he also preach Hare Krishna Mahamantra?
See, if I understand right, Narottam Das Thakur, when he got initiated from Loknath Goswami's pre-condition for the initiation was that he should chant 2 lakh rounds, 2 lakh names. 128 rounds, correct? 128 rounds he was chanting. That was a given. वो तो करना ही है. उसके बाद ऊपर से initiation के time he was giving the Gopal mantra. The Gopal mantra is the 6th of the Gayatri that he chanted. Correct? So that was given at that particular time. So that Diksha was a mantra Diksha, like what we are talking here. Correct? But the precondition was chanting of 128 rounds. That was there, of course. He was following that. When he goes to the shelter of Loknath Goswami, he tells him what he was supposed to do. And part of that is to chant 128 rounds. Fortunately, we have to chant only 16 rounds. Nicely, that's all. 128 बोलते आप सब पहले We have that. So you're looking more at it rather than seeing only one aspect. Sense actually. Is that correct? That's what we're going to look henceforward. So, I mean, that's a management answer to your question because it was managerial. ISKCON का official rule is 6 months. अभी वो छोड़ दो, वो तो हो ही ऐसा. 6 months and Bhakti Shastri. That's all. That is the Bhakti Shastri thing. Yeah, it should be done. In fact, now onwards for first initiation also there will be a disciples course. A person has to do from 2015. Anybody who wants initiation has to pass a disciple course. Understood what
So go. This structure looks as we would all be individual zones. Of the you understand what I'm saying?
Of harmonizing the parallel lines of
Yeah,
that was one of the
that.
topics and I was very interesting. So that is a part of disciples course. So I think many of them are.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Badrinaran Maharaj.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.